Niamh Cusack, I'm so pleased that you could join me today. Thank you so much for giving up your time. Let me ask you, first of all, what's lockdown been like for you? What have you been up to?
Well, I think I'm very lucky in that we live near the river and we live near Richmond Park. You know, for me, I'm 60 and my husband's 61. It's just sort of, it's okay. It's manageable. We both were working when lockdown happened. I was rehearsing a play in Dublin. Finn had done 2 performances of a play at the Many a Chocolate Factory. So that was a strange experience, stopping mid-flow. But I think, you know, we're the lucky ones in that we have, you know, my husband's got about 40 years of experience of being an actor, and I've got a little bit less than that. And I suppose my heart really goes out to the young people in our profession, the young people who are just starting off, because the thing I'm struck by is you don't really, and I'm just talking as an actor, but I think this goes for most of us, because it's such a hands-on kind of skill, that if you're not doing it, it's quite difficult sometimes to feel that you actually are an actor. You know, are we theatre people? Are we performing artists or part of the performing art world if we're not doing it? And it's very difficult to feel you are if you're not doing it. If you've been doing it for 30, 40 years, you know that is what you are because you've done it for such a long time. But the young ones don't have that, because I think we're all very aware of the need to support each other. I mean, that's why I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Of course, most actors, I would imagine, perhaps all actors, are essentially freelancers.
Yes.
What would you have been hoping for from the government in terms of support when they announced their £1.5 billion cultural support package?
I mean, at the beginning, I was very excited by that. And then I realized how much it was going to be spread out, you know, how many worthy causes it was hoping to cover. And I was disappointed at, first of all, that there didn't seem to me, and I could be wrong here, but there didn't seem to be many freelancers at the table discussing it. I think not being able to hear personal experiences and not having a voice at the crucial tables is, frankly, it's a bit insulting. You know, we're not children. You know, we're intelligent, creative. A lot of us are very articulate. I wouldn't put myself among them, but plenty of people who have the experience of actually making work, being the frontliners, if you like. But really, everybody that puts on a play, you know, from the actors to the designers to the choreographers to the crew to the costume designers to the wardrobe assistants and the dressers, all of those people are now sort of in free fall.
British theatre professionals, actors and other professionals,
yeah,
they are renowned the world over.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be the impact on this industry in Britain if everything is shut until April, which looks like a possibility at this stage?
Theatre is renowned all over the world, but many theatre practitioners are not paid an awful lot of money. So my feeling is there will be some people who will simply have to stop and go somewhere else to earn a living. That will be a difficult decision to make, and it will probably involve retraining. But I think there will be people who will be forced to do that.
You began your training in the arts, actually in music, did you not? Yeah. You were going to be a flautist, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. I went to the Royal Academy of Music and I studied there for 3 years, and then I worked in an orchestra in Dublin. And then when I came back, I couldn't get any work. And I really, during my time at the academy, I realized that I actually wasn't a natural musician. So I then went to the City Lit and did an adult education course there in theatre. And then I went to drama school for a year, and the rest is history.
Right. So do you think that the younger generation coming out of conservatoires and theatre schools, etc., right now, even though they're emerging into the worst possible scenario, Do you think that maybe they will be sort of more hardened for the experience?
I do. I think it's actually important that they learn how to survive. I think it could be the making of them. And I think already the young people I know, they're doing play readings, they're making little films, they're very supportive of each other. They're looking forward all the time to seeing what niche they can find for themselves at the moment, at the same time as keeping an eye on what's happening in the sort of establishment. I think developing that steel is actually essential for any performing artist. You need it because there are knocks, you know, whether it's this or some other kind of knock, there are knocks along the way. But this is a bit of a baptism of fire for them at the minute.
What do you see as the biggest barrier right now to getting the performing arts back on its feet? Is it lack of money? Is it the audiences being scared of going to the theatre? Is it the government guidance?
Well, I think the government guidance is so confused that people don't really trust it. I think people are fearful of going out, but I do think there's something about, I think there is a real desire and a need in a lot of people to do this thing of gathering together and seeing something live in front of them and sitting with other people and sharing that. And I think that the need for that and the loss of that is going to be so palpable that actually people will be prepared to go. So I think actually the biggest thing in its way is money, because I think actually if there's money available to make venues safe, I think that, you know, the sooner those places that are capable of putting on shows, albeit in a slightly unnatural situation, I think if that's made possible with revenue, then people will go. I think people want to go. There's a need for people to gather. And I think that the sense of the need for that is going to grow as time goes on.
Yeah. This probably happens all the time, but thinking about your students at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, if they ring you up and they say, Niamh, I just don't know how I can carry on in this industry right now, what advice do you give them? What do you say to them?
This is what I would say to my students. Every bit of life that you're living is actually, as an actor, it's grist to the mill. It's what makes you a better actor. Just seeing how you're working yourself, how you're responding to things, making a note of it. If you have even a glimmer of an idea for something to write it. Get down and write it. Read plays. Just remind yourself that that's what you do.
Yeah, that's wonderful advice. Niamh Cusack, thank you so much for giving your time. I really appreciate it.
Great welcome.